Trump won. It's time to celebrate, right? Well, yes and no. We all know that the economy is going to be better, but what does that actually mean? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about kind of three things that you probably need to consider. And then I'm going to actually explain something that I think is very confusing for a lot of people. I've seen it in my comments that, the tariffs thing. We're going to cover the tariffs thing. So stick around.
Through staying driven hard in every mile, putting gears and wearing a smile from hustling city streets to the country.
I appreciate you guys stopping in. If you could, hit that thumbs up button if you find if you find some value in the video. If not, you know what, whatever. Thanks for dropping in anyway. I do ask that you do leave a comment down below if you agree with any of these points. If maybe something that I pointed out you didn't think about, or if you have your own point to make. But first, I want to talk to the people that are actually upset about the way things went down. I'm not here to belittle anyone. I'm not here to force my ideas on anyone either. Um, One thing I would like to point out is that it was an absolute landslide. He won, I think, all of the battleground states. Maybe he lost one. I don't know. Regardless, it's an absolute landslide. It's not technically official yet, but it was so bad that she's already conceded. Um, and if you are on that other side and you're surprised by the outcome, I invite you to do a little bit of research and put aside your biases. I don't remember how do you say that. Set aside your bias and truly do some soul searching and do some research. Though back it up with proof. Um, if you think that she should have won without giving any kind of policy and essentially just running on Orange Man bad, and you truly think that she should have won, and you think that he's a dictator, then you need a new media outlet because you're brainwashed, unfortunately. And how do you fact check that, right? Well, the easiest way to do that is to go and look and figure out who owns all these media outlets. And you will see that it's essentially a monopoly. And that's Fox included, right? So you can see that there's an agenda that they want to push. Okay. Um, if you do all of that and you still want to be on that side, well, good luck. We'll just leave it at that. Anyway, moving on. That's enough. That's enough of that. The first topic that we're going to get into, and this is the one I think that most people are probably not going to think about, but it's going to make sense to you once I start explaining it. The first thing I think that you need to consider is that there's very likely going to be a health focus, a health shift focus. And that is likely going to be due to the fantastic RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr. Um, has made it his mission to essentially, take down the FDA. I don't know what that means, but I do know that there's a lot of trickery. There's a lot of greed. There's a lot of agenda pushing going on, and that is his sole mission. His sole mission is to return health to America. Essentially make America healthy again, right? There's a lot of chemicals in our food, and as truck drivers, sitting all day, we're already starting behind the eight ball there. And health is extremely important, and food more so than anything. Now, I will applaud the truck stops. Since I drove for 10 years, I started in 2012. And over the years, I started to see more healthy food, pop up in the truck stops. It wasn't nearly enough. I mean, not even remotely close. If you go out to the West Coast, they do have more healthy food in truck stops, of course, but across the nation as a whole, they're just really there's not enough. You get that one little island in the Loves, or or in the TA's Petros or whatever, and that's all well and good, but it's nowhere near enough. But regardless, there's also this just a massive amount of chemicals, fake meat, just all kinds of crap that's in our food that's bad for us. Things that they're depriving us of, that I do think that he's going to focus on, and I think that there's going to be a shift. So since there's going to be that shift, then I do think that the kind of stipulations for holding your card or having your health card are going to be higher. So that's definitely something that you're going to want to pay attention to. And if it's not something that you want to focus on, I mean, hey, it's your life. You're welcome to do whatever it is that you want to do. But if you enjoy being a truck driver, and your health is a concern, I mean, well, it should be a concern anyway. But you're definitely going to need to have a hard look at what you're doing. If you're not in a shape or in condition to get your health card consistently, if that's a sweat for you every time it pops up, then I urge you to have a look at your health, um, and figure it out. And if you have issue with it, I mean, send me an email, driventrucking.com, or dot com, driventrucking at yahoo.com. Send me an email. I help you out. I'm not like the most healthy in the world, but at the same time, I understand it. I have at least a decent understanding. So I'd be happy to help you out if you need it. But at the same time, like, all the information is available. It's out there. Hell, you probably know what to do. It's just time to focus on that. So diving right into the next point, which kind of alluded to at the beginning, great, Trump won. The economy is going to be great. Yes, that is true. This time around, he has the Senate and the House, so he is actually able to do what he wants to do. That was where things kind of fell short the first time, and things kept getting caught up, and he wasn't able to pass some things. He wasn't able to do some things that he really wanted to do that he knew that would benefit America. This time, that is not the case. And we are going to actually see what he is able to do. And I think that with his business prowess, and the team that he surrounded himself with, which he described as his downfall the first time, I think with the intelligent team that he's putting together, I think that he's going to make some real change here. The issue is that it's going to take some time. It really is. It's going to take some time. Don't expect the economy to turn around instantly. If you're already checking the load boards, wondering why there's not more freight on there, I hate to break it to you, but it's going to take time. That being said, I would say highly focus on the 2-year mark, because the job won't be done. 4 years really isn't enough to accomplish what all needs to be accomplished. I mean, he can put a nice dent in it, but in 2 years, it's going to be extremely important because there's going to be more Senate chairs up for available. There's going to be more House chairs up for available, and if the Republicans don't win, and they lose the majority, well, then it's going to be hard for him to do anything. He's going to be in the same position that he was in his first term. So the first 2 years are going to be crucial. I do think that things are going to get way better. I mean, could they really get any worse? But that being said, don't expect things to get better overnight. It is going to take some time. I do think that we're going to see some things develop relatively quickly, and maybe as soon as the end of next year, or maybe by summer, but I don't know. Summer feels a little bit quick. You will actually start to feel what is happening with the economy. I do think summer is too quick, but it is a possibility. I'd say a small possibility. Point number 3, or something that I wanted to talk about, are the tariffs. And number one, tariffs take time. They take time in order to work properly. And if you remember, the ports were really stopped up. They weren't necessarily stopped up because all of a sudden, there was a massive influx of anything or regulations were too high or anything like that. No, what it is the way that tariffs work, they are a tax on companies bringing in goods from outside of the United States. And what it does is it forces companies to use American made products, American made companies. It brings the wealth back to the United States. So, are tariffs bad? No, absolutely not. No, they're not bad. That is just what my point was being made earlier, how the media that's controlled talked about, all the ports are all stopped up and it's taken weeks and weeks and weeks to get all of our stuff in. And no, it's just now the US companies don't want to pay the tax in order to buy all these cheap goods that are coming in. So two things have to happen. Number one, there has to be a focus, there has to be a shift in order to use more American made products and American businesses, but also it forces the companies that are doing the exporting into the United States. It forces them to drop the price of their goods, in order to cover that additional amount of money that needs to be spent on whatever that product is. So they in turn make less money. So it weakens other countries exporting into America and it strengthens America. Tariffs are not bad. On top of that, if you need more proof that tariffs are not bad, go back and look. Joe Biden did not get rid of any of the tariffs. I don't know if I could say any. I can definitely say majority. He probably got rid of something, right? But the majority of those tariffs are still in place. Why? Because they make America too much money. Period. The media has they have their agenda and they make it look like, oh no, tariffs are bad. The tariffs are so bad. That's a bunch of crap. They're good. They're nothing but good for the economy. Nothing. Now, I'm not going to talk any more about that. That's the very elementary understanding of tariffs. It really, that's all you need to know. That's it. So, here's the last point that I would like to make. I'd like to talk about. This is something that you definitely need to consider, and you need to consider sooner than later. So, right now, the price of trucks and the price of trailers, they should be down, right? Are they at an all-time low? I mean, I don't know. But regardless, when interest rates go up, okay, and people aren't making as much money, commodities like vehicles, trailers, etc., go down. Like that's just economics 101, right? So I know that the price of trucks and trailers are down right now. Now, interest rates are up. Yes, that kind of sucks, right? But in a good economy, interest rates are down, but the price of the goods are up because a lot of people are buying. Therefore, you have less supply. So you kind of have to pick, you have to choose your poison. Which do you want? Do you want low price on the commodity or do you want a low interest rate if you're going to finance? And most of your wealthy people actually buy things in a poor economy and they just pay cash for them. Well, not everybody can afford to pay cash. So what do you do if you can't do that? Well, you still buy the thing, you finance it, and then you just refinance it later. Like that's something that you definitely need to be considering because the price of trucks and trailers are going to go up. The trucking economy is going to come back. There is going to be more oil use. Oil affects everything. It affects everything. Okay? And that's why we've seen such massive, it's part of the reason why we've seen such massive increase of inflation. They're lying to us talking about how, oh, they've increased the oil reserves and all this crap. No, the first thing that he did was shut down the pipeline. And the first thing that Trump's going to do, actually, I think it is open. I think he had to reopen it because our economy is in such bad shape. It's horrendous. Regardless, oil affects everything. It affects the transportation. It affects how it's made. It affects how it's delivered. literally every aspect of the economy oil affects. And then it's also used to produce so many different things: tires, plastic. The list is just miles long. Well, if you bring the cost of oil down because you're increasing the supply, well, then the literally the price of everything falls. The price of everything falls. People have more money to spend, and that's how, kind of a basic economic 101. But there are going to be a lot of people buying trucks. There's going to be a lot of people buying trailers. Expect that the further we get into his presidency, the price of trucks and the price of trailers are going to go up. You can mark that. You can timestamp this. You can come back in 2 to 4 years. You can look at it. Like, it's simple economics 101, like I said. So now is the time to consider buying, because you can buy at that low price, right? If you finance it for whatever, 5, 6 years, whatever you want to do, 3, 4 would be ideal, but 5 to 6, come back. Look at what interest rates are in a year. Look at what they are in 2 years. Refinance, bring that interest rate down. So now you've got a truck that you bought that's inexpensive. Now you have an interest rate that's lesser than what it was before. And now you're in an extremely equitable position. And if you need to get rid of that truck, if whatever happens, who knows? I mean, things happen all the time. You're actually able to do so rather than waiting for the economy to be great. Okay. Now trucks are selling for all the money. You get in, you buy, and now you have this gigantic truck note every month. Guess what? The economy it's cyclical. So whenever the economy goes bad, now you're stuck with this gigantic truck payment that you cannot make, and you're screwed. Don't be screwed. If you're considering buying a truck or a trailer, do it now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, ring that notification bell so you know when the next video is coming out. On a daily basis, I make trucking market update videos. So if you're an owner operator, please check those out. But as always, stay driven. See you next time.